Nigeria's non-oil exports hit record $6.1 billion in 2025, says Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Troops of Operation Hardin Kai clear terrorist camps, thwart attacks, sustain offensive in the northeast. Hello and welcome to the News Desk at 6 on NTA News 24, live from Abuja. I am Stella Inameti. Uploads have continued to trail the recent milestone agreement between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, as experts on Good Morning Nigeria are optimistic of robust implementation that will change the narrative of trust deficit between parties. Lydia Sampson reports.
Yes, incessant disputes over funding, salaries and governance have disrupted academic calendars in Nigeria, eroding trust in the university system and diminishing its global competitiveness. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria are emphatic that robust implementation of the new part is crucial to reverse these setbacks.
This agreement will be implemented.
The government has meddled in a lot of things concerning governance of our universities. This current government dissolved councils, and it took them over a year to reconstitute those councils.
Beyond addressing welfare concerns, the agreement holds promise for revitalizing university infrastructure, attracting international scholars, and fostering collaborative research that can position Nigerian institutions on the global academic map.
We must commend the government on NELFund. We must commend the government on the retirement benefits of professors and workers. If you want to have good governance in the university, you must have people who really understand university culture.
The guests insist to achieve this, transparency and sustained commitment from all stakeholders remains non-negotiable. Equally vital, they reiterate, is the depoliticization of vice-chancellor appointments, particularly in state-owned universities, where political interference often undermines merit and institutional integrity. A merit-driven process will not only boost confidence, but also ensure consistent academic leadership focused on excellence. Ultimately, the government has to accord presents more than a truce, but offers a foundation for restoring academic dignity, improving learning environments, and placing Nigerian universities on a stronger, more competitive footing for the future. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Still on education, the Nasarawa state government has flagged off the distribution of more than 30,000 textbooks, tablets and interactive smart boards to public primary and secondary schools across the state. Governor Abdullahi Sule said the measure is to enhance the quality of teaching and learning. Aliu Tijani reports.
More than 39,000 textbooks to be distributed are of English language, mathematics, and history. Also to be distributed are 27 tablets and 20 interactive smartboards. 1,600 primary and secondary schools are expected to benefit from the textbooks and other instructional materials. Governor Abdullahi Sule flags off the distribution exercise and assure of government commitment to payment of UBEC counterpart fund in order to improve standard of basic education in the state.
We, on that part, as a state government, will continue also to support and provide the counterpart funding so that we will draw the resources that are due to our state to keep promoting education, supporting our pupils and our students, and at the end of the day, we have the leaders of tomorrow.
Chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Kasim Mohammed Kasim, promises seamless distribution of the textbooks and instructional materials across the state.
We have received numerous donations from the Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, of school bags, calculators, and other essential writing materials.
The intervention is part of the recommendation of the Education Summit to address gap in learning materials across public schools. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has condemned the gruesome murder of housewife Fatima Abubakar and her 6 children at the Chiranchi community in Kano. President Tinubu commended the police for the swift arrest of the principal suspects and ordered the investigation and diligent prosecution of the suspects. The president condemned the action as barbaric and condoled with the bereaved family over the tragedy. The Nigerian Army has restated its commitment to clamp down on the activities of armed bandits, kidnappers and other criminal elements posing serious threats to peace and security in the country. Awal Harliru reports that this was in Katsina by the 17th Brigade of the Nigerian Army to commemorate this year's West African Social Activities, WASA.
The West African Social Activities, WASA, an age-long tradition, is designed to bring together officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, along with their families, friends, and host communities, to celebrate the end of the year and usher in a new one with renewed hope and commitment. The event provides a unique platform for promoting the nation's diverse and rich cultural heritage, showcasing traditions of different ethnic groups across the country. Briefing the occasion on the history of WASA, the Commander 17th Brigade of the Nigerian Army, Katsina, Brigadier General Miyaki Ishiaku, reaffirmed the commitment of the Nigerian Army to eliminating banditry, kidnapping, and other security threats in the country.
The terrorists have been largely degraded, so we're going to continue from there. We're going to sustain the fight to ensure that they're completely eradicated from Katsina State and contiguous states.
Governor Duko Omarada, represented at the event, assured the Nigerian Army of his administration's continued support, as well as that of other sister security agencies, in the discharge of their constitutional responsibilities.
Your effort is highly commendable, and I urge you to maintain this laudable standard.
Representatives of the police, other paramilitary agencies, and various institutions operating in the state who attended the event described WASA as a vital social platform that strengthens unity and boosts the morale of officers and men. In Katsina, Awal Halaru, NTA News.
Similarly, it was a moment of relaxation for personnel of the 12th Brigade Nigerian Army and its community, celebrating the 2025 West African Social Activities at the Chari Megumeri Barracks, Lokoja, with strategic direction, purposeful leadership and commitment to the welfare and training of personnel. Cardinal activities of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shuaibu. Ayodele Ibigbemi has the report.
Aside their core responsibility of protecting the territorial integrity of the nation, the Army also engages in peacekeeping abroad, disaster management, humanitarian services, and protection of the critical infrastructure for national security. The gathering here is not for any of the above, but a dedicated day to celebrate their diversity and remind themselves that beyond the uniforms, they remain one united family in their service to the nation. To demonstrate their various cultures and traditions at the 12th Brigade Barracks, Lokoja, Kogi State, there were display of local dishes for the invited guests. To the Kogi State government, the Nigerian Army and other security agencies to continue to carry out their constitutional duties with courage and bravery, it is important for the Army to take a break to celebrate and reflect on their cultures and responsibilities.
We will continue to appreciate Nigerian Army for what they are doing in Kogi State.
With the dreams of the Chief of Army Staff, the Nigerian Army will continue to safeguard the nation, so says the Commander, 12th Brigade Nigerian Army.
We particularly recognize our gallant troops who have shown resilience while conducting several daring military operations against bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements hibernating in these states.
2025 Wasa was characterized by varieties such as tug of war between soldiers' wives and female soldiers, the Nigerian Police Force, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. It also featured presentation of awards to military and non-military for their exceptional performances. The Ohinoyi of Ibera land and other traditional rulers, head of security agencies and parastatals, including the general manager and Nigerian Television Authority, Lokoja Yahya Adam, graced the occasion. In Lokoja, Ayodele, NTA News.
Meanwhile, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Hardin Kai, have recorded further operational successes in the ongoing Operation Desert Sanity, destroying multiple terrorist camps, recovering arms and equipment, and repelling coordinated attacks by the insurgents in the Timbuktu Triangle. A statement signed by Media Information Officer, Headquarters Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hardin Kai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, indicates that on Sunday, 18th January 2026, troops advanced from their harbor area and conducted deliberate intelligence-led operations across several identified terrorist enclaves, including Chilaria, Garin Farouk, and Aberma. The operation was supported by the air component of Operation Hardin Kai, which provided persistent intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance coverage over the axis. During the operation, troops recovered several items, including Boafeng radios, phones, AK-47 magazines, several rounds of special ammunition, and 7.62 mm NATO belted ammunition, several Boko Haram ISWAP flags, links of ammunition, diesel-powered grinding machines, large quantity of medical supplies, several bags of grains, pickup truck, underground logistics storage, and petroleum and oil lubricant dump, which all further degraded the operational and logistical capacity and capability of the terrorists. The Federal High Court, Abuja Division, has fixed 22nd of January 2026 for definite hearing of the alleged cyberbullying of President Bola Tinubu. Austin Anyebe reports that this followed amendment of the count charge against Omoyele Sowore to 2 by the Department of State Services at the sitting on Monday.
On Monday amended the earlier 5-count charge against the activist and publisher of Sahara Reporters Omoyele Sowore on allegations of false posts against President Bola Tinubu, where in a post via his X-handles, he referred to the president as telling lies about the state of corruption in Nigeria while in Brazil. Under the new charge, the 5 counts have been reduced to 2, cyber stalking and cyber crimes, which are contrary to Section 24, subsection 1P of the Cyber Crimes Prohibition Prevention Amendment Act 2024. Following this, 2 other defendants were removed from the charge. When the 2 counts charge were read to the defendant Sowore, he pleaded not guilty. The prosecution then informed the court of his readiness to continue with the trial as his first witness was in court. But the defense counsel, Abubakar Marshall, opposed the move, saying the statement of the witness he intends to call was not deposed, which is against the procedure and also against Section 36 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as fair hearing is key in any trial. The prosecution insists that the name of the witness cannot be disclosed due to the nature of his job. But the judge ruled that even if the name of the witness is not given, the defendant should be given a brief about the witness to enable him prepare for cross-examination. He therefore adjourned the case to 22nd of January 2026 for definite hearing. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 6 on NTA News 24. We'll take a break now. More reports when we return.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to... The only tomato
first manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the Federal Government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria. This is an evidence of 100% natural goodness, great quality and great taste. So eat healthy to live longer. Use Arisco tomato paste and products. 100% natural tomato. Now one day, better food now. Buy now and enjoy up to 20% discount. Arisco tomato paste, taste of the
From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
This is NTA News 24.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Activities at the Secretariats of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, have been grounded following the strike embarked upon by the Joint Union Action Committee over demands for improved working conditions. Onoze Yakubu is on hand with a situation report.
As 8 o'clock Monday morning, the main gates of the Secretariats of the Federal Capital Territory Administration and the Federal Capital Development Authority were under lock, preventing staff and visitors from gaining access to the complex for their daily routines. Many workers remain at home in strict compliance with the industrial action in order to press home their demands for a better working condition in the FCTA.
We have issues of non-remittance of our pension funds to our pension fund manager, to our administrators. We have issues of non-resolved issues about the National Housing Fund. We have issues of tenure elongation for directors that are supposed to retire and they are kept stunting our growth. We have issues of mass failure in the just concluded CBT exam.
The JUAC chairperson urges members to maintain the status quo until further directives.
Everybody is feeling the pinch of this. You stay in an office environment that overheads are not being paid. There are recurrent expenditures for running the day-to-day of the offices, and they are not being paid. You don't have papers to work, you don't have tuners, you can't keep your closets clean, and so many other issues.
These long queues of vehicles parked on the road shoulders are indications of no retreat, no surrender by the leadership of the JUAC, which are stationed at the gates of the secretariats to enforce compliance. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Nigeria's non-oil export sector recorded its strongest performance yet in 2025, with export earnings rising to an all-time high of about $6.1 billion, representing an 11.5% increase over the previous year. This was disclosed by the Executive Director of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nonye Ayeni, during a press briefing on the performance of non-oil exports and the 2026 outlook at the Export House, Abuja. Ayeni explained that total non-oil export volume rose to 8.02 million metric tons in 2025, up from 7.29 million metric tons in 2024, with Nigeria exporting 281 non-oil products to 120 countries across the world. The Netherlands, Brazil, and India emerged as the top export destinations, while cocoa and its derivatives urea fertilizer, cashew nuts, sesame seed, and solid minerals dominated export earnings. She said the achievement reflects the success of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, particularly in diversifying the economy, creating jobs, and strengthening Nigeria's position in global trade. Connected Development, a non-profit organization advancing social accountability and citizen participation in governance, has launched a new project to track gateway funds for strengthening health security in Nigeria. Tope Alabi reports that the initiative is an analysis and capstone project of the Global Health Advocacy Incubator, supported by Resolve to Save Lives.
Care Provision Fund remains Nigeria's primary domestic financing mechanism for strengthening the health system. And within the framework, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control Gateway is a major channel that directly supports disease surveillance, outbreak response, laboratory systems, and emergency coordination. However, public visibility into NCDC gateway disbursements and utilization remains limited, as Nigeria's epidemic preparedness and response capacity depends significantly on sustained domestic financing for health security. This project, launched by Connected Development Code, seeks to address critical accountability and evidence gaps capable of undermining effective epidemic preparedness and response.
So the project exclusively focuses on the 32.9 billion naira that is targeted towards national and subnational health security. So we're particularly looking at investment around epidemic preparedness, system surveillance, responses. Just simply want to increase accountability, transparency, and efficiency. If these funds are being adequately utilized, you would see situations where we will not be taken unawares by epidemics.
Strategic stakeholders for the project, apart from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, include the Ministerial Oversight Committee on Basic Health Care Provision Fund, Federal and State Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Emergency Operations Centers, as well as civil society and media partners.
At Connected Development, Follow the Money, we use the freedom of information as our yardstick for holding government accountable, because the law allows us to ask questions, especially on public spending. So this is what we are going to do with the project. And then we're also going to encourage citizens gather information through the monitoring and tracking which citizens are going to do with us.
Through this initiative, CODE aims to generate actionable evidence between January and June 2026 to support improved oversight, learning, and sustained investment that translates into measurable preparedness and resilience outcomes. In Abuja, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, on his re-election as chairman of the Africa Minerals Strategic Group, a forum of ministers in charge of mining and solid minerals on the continent. Mr. Alake was first elected in 2024 on the sidelines of the Future Minerals Forum and later re-elected at the 2026 annual general meeting of the group, which was held on the sidelines of the same conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. President Tinubu, in a release by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, commended the minister for aligning the objectives of the AMSG with Nigeria's renewed hope agenda, particularly the drive to unlock the nation's vast solid minerals potential, attract sustainable investment that translates into tangible socio-economic benefits for Africans. The president assured Alake of the federal government's continued support as he leads the group to deepen cooperation among African nations and inclusiveness in the minerals sector. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has expressed grief over the passing of renowned businessman and leader of the business community in Kano, Alhaji Bature Abdulaziz, who died over the weekend. A statement from the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says the president described his death as a loss felt beyond the Kano business community, but across many parts of Nigeria, in view of the deceased's influence on commerce. The late Dr. Bachuri Abdulaziz, who died at the weekend in Kano, was the national president of the Harmonized Traders Association of Nigeria, among other commerce-related unions. The president also acknowledged the support he received from Dr. Abdulaziz during the 2023 campaigns and his persistent advocacy for national unity and patriotism through the Patriotic Elders Network for Peace, which he founded. President Tinubu condoles with the Kano business community, the people, and the state government over the loss. And that concludes the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Stella Inameti.